Welcome to In Your City Show here, coming to you from the new Lou Information Station right here at the KLIS 590 AM. We'd love to hear from you. You can go to our Facebook page at In Your City Show. You can go to Instagram. Of course, you can go to inyourcityshow.com and message us. If there's somebody that you know that would make a great guest, have some great information, maybe they've done something really cool in the community or their city, we'd love to know, and maybe we can share that guest on the show and talk with them. You can also subscribe at luinfo.com and at the In Your City Show page. We'd love to know that you're listening and, you know, maybe not give us a mean critique, but we'd like a nice critique. What do they call that? Constructive criticism.
Yeah, it's okay if we get somebody that doesn't like it.
How do you? I don't want to know. Do you really want to know?
It doesn't bother me. Let it rip, baby. Let it rip.
No, I'm too fragile. I'm not sure I can handle it. That's what it's hard for people that are, big celebrities because by it's kind of sad because I mean, obviously they're entertaining us with movies or singing or whatever it is their career, but it really opens them up for harsh criticism.
Yeah, and it usually works better if Kelly's got a mic.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Grant.
Thanks. Grant. Oh, Grant let you know
Grant, let me know. Has Kelly got a mic on?
Jeez, I'm telling you, one of these.
Thank
Thank goodness for the earpiece.
Good thing that you have a
Loud voice.
effective voice. Yes.
Sounds like I'm outside the car talking in the beginning of the show, right?
Grant is that man behind the curtain. You know attention to that man behind the curtain until he tells you you need to have a mic on.
Or when you hear him in your ear because he's having malfunctions in the studio.
He was having all of a sudden something wasn't working, and I was hearing him in a frantic panic in my ear, and it was like, okay, I just got to take him out because he's stressing me out right now. I don't know what's going on, but
we got to give a big thanks to Grant Salzman and Connor Green because Grant's back there making sure that we're on the air, and if we aren't on the air like we were yesterday, he's trying to figure it out really quickly. As we came in a little bit mid conversation, Connor's hitting buttons and working on the social media, so we appreciate that because it does take a team to get the show going. But back to what I was saying is, it is hard to be in a large spotlight, more or less a small spotlight, because your life kind of gets put out there and everybody wants to know what you're doing or where you're at. It's kind of funny, like, why is that when you're a celebrity that people care what's in your trash or where you're eating or what you're wearing that day? It, instead of just enjoying the movie or the sport that they play, we want to. Now, I don't necessarily. I mean, I love to know if they're getting married or they had a baby or just like you do your friends, because you kind of do, I guess, feel an attachment to celebrities when they're in front of you all the time, right? I mean,
Yeah.
look like, I mean, Elvis Presley. I mean, people would cry just at the thought of him walking
Elvis would
by.
have done in an environment like we have today, because he really never got to experience the social media side of it. He didn't have TMZ following him everywhere he went.
He may not have lasted as long because he didn't last long by the stress and anxiety of the life that he lived. So imagine if everything he did was in the forefront like it is now. It can't be easy.
No, because he didn't. I mean, Colonel Tom Parker said, boy, just get up and entertain. I don't want to hear about politics, religion.
Yeah, I hate when people get involved, but I guess
But
so.
what I'm saying is, that was then. Even at that time, he was just entertaining, right? He wasn't saying how he felt about certain things. But that would have been, what I'm saying is, it would have been so hard today with people being able to follow every word you say with phones. They could have caught Elvis saying something on a phone somewhere where he didn't know the phone was on.
And that's what happens.
That's what I'm saying. You can't escape. How would you escape that? Because you don't know. I mean, anybody can record you at any time.
Right. People are caught doing, I mean, just
the first thing people do is they pull up their phone and go,
it's our video, and rather than helping you. Yeah, it's a different world. I think it'd have to be really hard to be in that position all the time. And because you're a celebrity, sometimes we do get mad at them giving their political views or how they feel. But at the same time, they are lucky in a way that they have a platform, they have a stage. So if they feel really about saving the rainforest or whatever it might be, they have that voice to kind of help share that. So it's kind of hard to not use it at the same time. We just don't appreciate if they don't share the voice of what we like and believe in. That's the problem. We all have our opinion and we expect them to say what we want them to hear. And if they
Right.
don't, then all of a sudden we don't care anymore about their political view or what they're thinking, right?
Yeah.
So our question of the day, speaking of celebrities, is if you could swap lives with a TV or movie character for 24 hours, who would you choose and why?
I thought about this and I had some. You want to know what it's like to get old? Forget what you were thinking on the way to the show when I completely forgot what character I picked.
So you've lost it?
Yeah, I completely forgot.
I'd want to be Wonder Woman, I guess, and put a lasso on you and start asking questions. The lilac, the golden lilac. So you have to tell the truth.
I was watching a Kevin James King of Queens episode. It was Carrie going, "So do you lie to me all the time?" And he goes, "Yes." He goes, "I'm afraid of you."
I'm afraid of you.
I'd be afraid of her too. Yeah, forgetting what you say or having. I want anybody that's watching the show right now.
Do you see how many pairs of glasses he has, and the fact of how dirty they are if you can even see out of them? And he's wearing a pair.
Well, these are my sunglasses
that you can also use as reading. You do have a lot of glasses. That's
what happens when you don't.
There's like 8 of them on the little table when you come into the hallway of the house. There
were 8. I moved them.
It was seriously getting kind of out of hand. So you can't remember who you'd want to be for the day? I'm serious. I'd have superpowers as Wonder Woman. That would be amazing. And she's pretty.
I just remembered. Bruce Wayne. I want to be Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne or Superman?
Well, Bruce Wayne, because Bruce Wayne, I mean, Superman's cool, but Superman's a nerd when he's in his alter ego.
You want to be a nerd?
Bruce Wayne is not a nerd when he's in his alter ego. So he's cool as Batman and he's cool as Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
So no matter which way you go,
you're
doing, you're pretty cool. And you're rich. You got everything you want. You got some of the coolest toys and gadgets to play with.
And you could hang around with Catwoman.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. So on our show today, we are going to be talking with Mike Isaacson. He's the artistic director and executive producer of the Muni. We're going to talk about what's lighting up Forest Park this season and why this year's lineup is one you won't want to miss. From the magic of musicals, you know what? That is tomorrow's show. Mike's going to be with us tomorrow.
So if you want to see Mike tomorrow about the Muni, then tune in tomorrow because today is Mike LaMartina.
Just think what I might say if we had a teleprompter.
Yes, from One Cardinal Way. We're going to get to hear about all the cool things down at.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Above the Game actually on today's show, literally, figurative. We are going to be joined by Mike LaMartina. Thank you, Gordon, from One Cardinal Way. And hopefully we're going to get to talk with Liz Swyers. She couldn't make it today from Hands Brewery, but she will be here. So we're going to get to meet her as well. But yeah, so wrong day, but we are going to get to talk to Mike. The other Mike. I just went with the wrong Mike is what we did.
Yeah.
But just before we do get to meet Mike, want to let you know about Steampunk Brewworks. Have you heard of that?
No, but wasn't it a movie? Steampunk. Steampunk's kind of like the old.
No, it's actually a town and country based themed brewery, and they are actually collaborating with the St. Louis Science Center as part of a launch. So it's kind of funny. I've been reading all these people are having these that aren't necessarily a bar. They're having happy hour. I think they're copying off of our happy hour show here is what is the happiest happy hour right now. So they're actually going to be doing this on July 19th. It's going to be it's called Up Late. It's an adult only event at the Science Center from July 19th, 6 to 10 p.m. And you're going to be able to, I guess, try out the hottest new Steampunk Brew Works that's going on. And there's another happy hour that's going on as well when I get my notes out and I can read things correctly. Saturday, July 26th, they're also going to be having a Pinewood Derby and teaming up with Steampunk Brew Works. So I've actually heard of that myself, so we're gonna have to have them on.
Pinewood Derby or this with kids?
That'll be a family.
Okay.
But the Up Late on July 19th, that is going to be an adults only event. The St. Louis Symphony, which we've had on the show, they're going to be announcing a happy hour concert. So there's going to be another.
I just want to make everybody happy.
Everybody
enjoy the show.
Enjoy. Cocktails make everything better. So they're going to be having tickets that are going to be available now through July 22nd for their happy hour event. It's a playlist concert that invites audience for a lifelong symphony enthusiast to first-time guests to connect with music in a way that's enlightening and inspiring. And everything's always enlightening if you've got a cocktail to go along with it, I guess. So
I have some inspiration in there somewhere too.
I think so, but they've got a great playlist going on. They're going to have things like Harry Potter and the Sorcerer, what is it? Stravinsky Firebird, Beethoven Seventh. They're going to do a spotlight on John Williams. So they've got quite a few, different things that are going on. So that should be a fun time, and happy hours always a good time, right? All right, that was my happy hour stuff. So now it is already 4:16. So we are going to meet Mike LaMartina and talk about what's happening over at One Cardinal Way. So I like how my chair will just swivel. Are you going to get us fixed up on the screen up there? So instead of me looking at the computer, it looks like tacos up there.
I'm gonna do that.
So I'm going to say hi to Mike, and then Mike's in the house, and we're going to get him a mic.
So Mike can write that.
Boy, do you look spiffy, sir.
I'm telling you what, look at that jacket.
Gordon's heart right now with that jacket. He is a jacket.
But today we're going somewhere afterwards, and I was like,
well, the weather broke a little bit, so I figured I needed to bundle up.
There you go, right? We're going to go see Romeo and Juliet at the St. Louis Zoo. It's their Shakespeare festival. So we're going to go check it out after the show.
Yeah.
So we kind of dressed a little bit. In fact, I don't know why you didn't wear shorts. He's going to be a little toasty.
No, it's a good call. It's warm out there today.
Those jeans, but it's so good to see you. You know, we met you, gosh, back 2020, I think 2020, and you took us on a tour of One Cardinal Way. We went out, we had little hard hats on because it wasn't finished. And I have to say, standing up there on that back balcony overlooking Busch Stadium was amazing. And we actually thought about selling our house and moving until we didn't, but
we didn't.
We had family and 2 dogs, and we started thinking, okay, can we do this? But honestly, every time we walk in there, we want to sell our house, downsize, and live like movie stars up there above Busch Stadium.
I was thinking about that when we confirmed we were going to speak today, and One Cardinal Way is celebrating 5 years. Gosh. And so I remember it was a little over 5 years ago. Hosting
because you were just getting the guys finished.
We had started to wrap up construction. We were still in hard hat mode, but we were able to really kind of show it off to you. And what a 5 years it's been. It's been fantastic. And to your point, I mean, so much of our resident base has been in that exact same position where they've downsized or they've wanted to create a second living arrangement or whatever that may be. And in this luxury lifestyle and amenity rich urban setting that has just been a great success for us. And that's not all who live there. Obviously, we have a nice mix of entrepreneurs and local employees of local companies and things like that. But it's been really great ride.
Have to be, like you said, it really doesn't. You really don't have to sell and downsize. It really is a perfect place to have a second place. Especially if you have lots of clients coming in town, or maybe you want to you love getting away on the weekends, or you're a big baseball fan. So you don't necessarily have to move out and just live there. It could be a second place.
So much of the allure too is it's as close as you can be in your own home to the action for baseball. And certainly the partnership in the Cordish companies and the Cardinals to develop Ballpark Village as a whole, this was creating the residential element of that. And, at the onset, so much of that still remains in the DNA of the building, the resident experience, whether it's a happy hour with Ozzie Smith that the residents only get to attend, or Bill DeWitt III. Several of those moments occur, but some people are just there because they want to be part of the experience of living in a building like that.
Let's talk about that building in a second. It's 29 stories. Let's talk about what the building offers.
Yeah, 29 stories. We have 30,000 square feet of amenity space on the 8th floor, which, as you referenced, that's where the Infinity Edge pool lies. So you can call balls and strikes from the pool. Unique to the property and part of One Cardinal Way is that we're fiber fed in all of our main spaces directly from the stadium. So there's no delay in the audio. There's no delay in the video. If you're a baseball fan, you're immersed in it just like you're in the stadium, but you're in the comfort of.
So you don't hear the crack of the bat, and then here you go. Now the pitch.
Yes. Yeah, that's perfect. You may still be subject to that if you just have a cable provider, but as far as what we provide is the overall experience, it's a really neat attribute. We've found some moments of success too when that same feed kicks in for a big concert. When there's a big concert at Busch, the stage backs up, but you can see everybody, you can hear it, and then that TV channel still is something that kind of pulls it through, and You can hang out in the pool, and Savannah Bananas will be here in next weekend for a couple of days.
I must be behind. How do I don't know who Savannah Bananas is. Give me the
It's a big deal.
That.
It's a big deal. It's kind of satire, comedy, comedic, baseball play. I mean, it's like a show. They do a lot of fun antics and things like that, but they're real athletes.
So it's literally a baseball game.
Yeah.
But comedic style, kind of like the Globetrotters or something playing basketball.
Very similar.
But baseball.
Very similar, yeah. But they've grown from being a small regional kind of Savannah Bananas to then getting to bigger tours, and we've been fortunate enough to get them for 2 dates and fully sold out. You had to enter a lottery to even be eligible to buy tickets, and so it's a lot of excitement. But it's another amenity that stadium events beyond baseball, and our whole entertainment district and everything that residents of One Cardinal Way have a chance to enjoy and make their neighborhood is really what's been so great for that property and for our ability to retain residents. There's so many that have come and stayed on multiple year leases and everything else, and they just enjoy the experience.
Wow.
So since you started, was it say 5 years ago, or since it was built?
One Cardinal Way, we're celebrating 5 years this month.
Celebrating 5 years. Yep. So from the beginning of the vision, from what you guys thought it was going to be, has it been what you thought it was going to be, or has it completely surpassed what you thought it was going to be?
I think it's fair to say both. There's in part of the master plan of development for Ballpark Village, there was always the intent to go beyond just the entertainment district, which was opened in 2014. So alongside the completion of One Cardinal Way, we also expanded and introduced Live by Lowe's in the PwC Pennant building, our Class A office building, Genesis Health Clubs, Sports and Social, the big outdoor Together Credit Union Plaza. And it was really about creating that neighborhood environment, right? Creating this neighborhood inside of a downtown corridor that's directly adjacent to Busch Stadium. I think that all of those boxes were checked, and the premium aspects we wanted to deliver were all checked. And then, how was the reaction? Well, I think that's where a lot of you could say it's exceeded some expectations, and we have to continue to improve upon the on the resident experience and all the programming we're doing elsewhere, because we're constantly raising the bar, and that's exceeding our expectations. And to walk into baseball season this year at 100% leased,
fantastic.
We opened at 85% pre-leased when we opened the building in July of 2020. And so those metrics alone are something to certainly be proud of, not only for the development and for everything that has come to life within the development but also for downtown St. Louis.
Yeah.
And there's been several other residential developments that continue to come online, and different varying scales of amenity and luxury and affordability. And we still see that there's a demand. We have wait lists, and it's a great place to be for this property, and certainly the future is bright.
Right.
What has been the biggest surprise for you?
I guess I would say one of those, I wouldn't call it a surprise. What I would say is one of the most enlightening and welcoming kind of feelings about it is how much people actually treat this as more than just an apartment high rise, right? But it's their home, yes, of course, but then the neighborhood is their neighborhood. When you're a resident at One Cardinal Way, Ballpark Village is your neighborhood. You frequent the restaurants, the Fielder's Choice coffee shop on the first floor.
And that was going to be you kind of are answering, because you said that before about calling it home, and then answer his question. That is what you're saying, the things that make it feel like, what are you doing there to make it feel like a home, comfortable?
Yeah, and really just create that neighborhood dynamic around it. And so whether you're working for Purina or another local company that you can walk to work, you've got all of those amenities available to you. We've got great residential programming. We do 3 to 5 events a month that we're curating for residents to attend, everything from wine tastings, whiskey tastings, to, as I mentioned, Beers with Bill, or Ozzie Smith he launched his brand new RTD at One Cardinal Way with the residents, or it could be a package wrapping. It can bring your presents down. We're gonna have a wrapping day around the Christmas holiday. So many of those things that give that sense of community. But then once you get out of the building, you have every restaurant you can imagine, from Salt and Smoke to Sports and Social and Katie's to shopping and retailers. And then even over in the Pennant building, we have several residents who cross over with us into Spark Co-working and have officing out of Spark Co-working, if they're not already officing or working from home in one of our great lounges, or using the conference room, and all of these things that are available to them. So everything that you could envision as creating your home and creating your neighborhood and having ownership of that and feeling welcome within it all exists there.
What is the vibe from out of town people for you that you get? Because I mean, people who live here have seen it and known it.
Yeah.
But what is the vibe from someone who's visiting and they see this and it's like, and have you had anybody who was from out of town that didn't live here and said, I want to come to St. Louis and live here?
Yeah, we've certainly seen variables of that, whether it's someone relocating for a job with, Enterprise or Edward Jones or whatever that may be, and this building and this opportunity to be a resident of this building comes up, and they're blown away that this even exists. They think they're gonna have to live in an apartment way out in the county somewhere else, but to be in the middle of this, they're blown away. And I think the biggest out of town summation would be wow, wow, because this ballpark village as a whole has certainly become, a catalyst for many things in downtown St. Louis. But then to create this luxury living element adjacent to an entertainment district, adjacent to Class A office living, close to Keener Plaza, and you got Busch Stadium right next door.
Right.
It's really set the standard for how these developments are created nationwide. And in partnership with the Cordish companies and the Cardinals, we've been able to execute all of this and continue developing. And people have responded very well to it. And out-of-towners come in and they're like, we didn't know this is here. They love it. The stay gets longer on both sides. And then, if they're looking at St. Louis as an opportunity to maybe live there as part of, a transfer or whatever they can in their career, which is very exciting. That's great for our city.
Every neighborhood, sorry, Cal, every neighborhood has its personalities.
Hmm.
They have this, so somebody in the neighborhood that's just a special personality. We've got the guy that wears the same shorts to every event in Newtown. But I mean,
it's his uniform.
Do you have a special, someone who's just got this special personality that everybody knows?
Yeah, I think there's several of those. There's communities within the community, right? And there's some, we've actually done some Cardinals insider shows and shown a couple of apartments of Cardinals fans who have made their apartment a Cardinals historical landmark at this point, of all of the bobbleheads and everything in Cardinals history. And each floor, and I don't know if you remember this when you visit, but each floor has a different, when you get off the elevator, a different mural on it, a real photo from a different moment in Cardinals history, from the '86 World Series to 2011. And so a lot of people get real passionate about that too. I'm on the '86 World Series floor, even though they have units, types, and styles. And so to your question, I think a lot of those personalities come through in kind of the sub community and what they're there for, but it's all celebrating their pride for their home.
Very cool.
So you actually live there yourself then?
I do not.
No. Oh, your office, or
Yeah.
When you said you're on the certain floor, I thought maybe you were living there as
the
well.
8th floor.
Okay.
I was talking about our amenity level, the 8th
Got
floor.
it. Your amenity level on that.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and just get that out there right now. You have this luxury living apartment complex. We're down in the city. How is it, and what makes you, how are you're 100% leased, keeping it safe?
Safety is always a hot topic, right?
Yeah.
For downtown in general. And I'm originally from St. Louis. I've lived downtown. I work downtown every day. And, there is a fine line between narrative and reality. And, our police chief has done a fantastic job, and a lot of the work that he's done. Today I was pointing out, and Broadway is getting redone. It's getting a street diet. There's so many positive things going into assisting in kind of the containment and kind of the post-pandemic effect of downtown St. Louis. But what we've been fortunate to do is that our partnership with civic leaders and the city and everything else, plus our additional heavy investment into security across the property and even police presence during large events and things like that. It's all in the interest of guest safety.
Yeah.
And resident safety and office worker safety. And nothing can thrive if it feels unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
And so we also work very closely with the stadium during stadium events, and their homeland security policies, which it makes people feel good. But it's real. It's real, and there's a lot that we do that people don't see. Every area is going to have issues when it has issues, but I think that sometimes downtown gets a bad rap, a little unnecessarily.
Yep.
Because it's
an amazing
an easy target.
Yeah, we have an amazing city, and it's great to see things like this one Cardinal Way and the surroundings around it doing so well and thriving and continuing to grow and bring so much to the city, because it means everything. I guess grocery, education, those are probably the things that really have to, which is not your thing, but the city, so that we can really get families and people to live in the city and enjoy all that it has to offer.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. There's certainly basic amenity that has to come back or renew itself for
Yes.
downtown living to continue to be beyond the DoorDash or running somewhere else. But you know, I believe we have great faith in our city leaders in Greater St. Louis Inc. to help execute on those things, especially with some of these buildings that have been dormant for some time that are not in local control, working to get local control of them to make meaningful adaptive reuse of them.
Right.
Today we held a press conference on the 8th floor of One Cardinal Way with our city leaders and the mayor, and we were announcing the closing of Gateway Arch Park Foundation closing on the Millennium Hotel project property.
Wonderful.
Who we're in partnership with to aid in the development of that and lead the development of that. And
well, we want to talk more about that. And we have some more questions for you, even a fun little game, but we've got to take it to a break. So we're going to take it to a break right here on the In Your City Show, presented by City Lifestyle Magazines, Chesterfield, Clayton, and St. Charles County. We're going to be back with more of Mike LaMartina from One Cardinal Way. We'll be back right here on the Lou Information Station. Williams at St. Louis Closet Company. She is an incredible woman and individual running St. Louis Closet Company for over 30 years. Everything they do is in-house, on premises at their gorgeous location on Big Bend Road. They're not a cookie cutter whatsoever, whether it's a mud room, a kitchen, a bedroom, a closet, shoot, drawers in your pantry if you need help with. They do it all, and they will build it to your needs. That's, you go in, you have a consultation, a free one. It's fun when you walk through there because it can really give you some ideas, but at the same time, you don't have to go with idea. It's just helping you, make that decision. But
we're gonna have to show her remember what I found on
that you want
the phone.
Yeah.
It was like it was like a
It's a movie entertainment thing.
like, just like when you go to the movie theater, it had like the trays.
Jennifer, are you willing to
stuff.
fill it with candy bars and chips and soda? Because I think that's what got him the most, is that every shelf had potato chips, chocolates, soda. She can load it
there, and then wine on the side. It was really cool.
In fact, she probably wants to see it because she probably will end up constructing one in her showroom to show it off, because it is pretty cool. So, but we really appreciate everything that she does and what she brings to the community. She's very philanthropic with the communities and what she does to help, from her toy, when she's building all the toys, not building all the toys, but
the closets.
No,
Toys for Tots.
yes, thank you. She's collecting. That's right. She's not making the toys, but she's actually
are working all the time. Wonderful things.
Closets for a Cause is also actually. She's not building them. But we just want to say thank you to her for all that she does for community, and just being out there as a woman in business. And I love her story that, my gosh, it was like 25 tries later trying to get a loan to start a business. She did not give up, and she kept going, and here she is showing us how to do it. So thank you to St. Louis Closet Co. If you're thinking about doing anything to take your home from chaos to calm, it's with Jennifer Williams. Support local. That's what it's all about. And that's what she is, a St. Louis owned business. It's not a franchise. So thank you very much, St. Louis Closet Company. And back to Mike LaMartina. Am I saying it correctly?
Yeah,
It's a cool name, but it's kind of a little tongue twister there.
I want to be Jeff Spicoli right now and go, dude, where'd you get that jacket?
It was a gift. It was a gift. It was a good gift.
Reveal myself.
And his shoes match his jacket. He's so Gordon is one of those. He, like, even if he puts shorts on or something to go to the gym, I'm like, really, your shoes need to match your t-shirt? It's kind of
How you feel? How you feel?
That's how you feel, right? So he's a closet and shoe person as well. Hey, by the way, how are the closets at Cardinal One Way? Cardinal One Way.
Cardinal One.
Thank you.
I'll start with just the finishes. Everything is a premium finish. There isn't a scaling to type of unit or size of unit to where you're going to have a different level of finish than a bigger unit or a different floor. They're all exquisite finishes, great cabinets, in-suite laundry, and then wonderful bathrooms with some with walk-in on the closets, some with just standard closets off the bedroom, but they're all very spacious. And I think that's one of the things that was intentional and kind of how we put it all together, was to make sure it was livable, not just, it's not a hotel room, this is your home.
Right.
And so that attention to detail, I think, is also so well received by people because it feels so nice.
Did you show some of the photos?
Yes, we did.
Is the pool by any chance? That's what we're gonna have to come back, because you didn't have the pool built when we toured it. So I definitely want to see what that looks like. And now, people can't just come in there. I mean, you need to be living there. It's not like it's open if you want to go sit at the pool or something like that.
It is not a public pool. No,
which is good.
The pool and the whole amenity level are all amenities designed for the use of residents and then their guests. And that includes game days. That includes great game days when you want to hang out on the pool and watch a day game or a night game. We have a full service bar on that floor as well. And so great cocktail program, great monthly features.
My friend that lives there, so I can sit at the pool and watch the game. There it is. Look at that. That's just fantastic. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a great day to hang out right there. And plus, then it doesn't get overcrowded. You don't want other people just coming in there and using it. You want it to be for
Well, that
the
takes a little bit of the special away, right?
Yeah.
These amenities, and whether it's the gym on that floor or the chef's kitchen or the bar or the pool, these are amenities for the residents, for their guests, for their family. They also have access to Genesis Health Clubs on the property as well, which is 30,000 square feet of premier fitness health club. So, it's just another one of those kind of added layers of the lifestyle and neighborhood feel,
Yeah.
to provide all those.
So we were talking in the break, and you've definitely had an impressive career in hospitality and operations. What inspired you to get into the luxury living, and what inspires you and motivates you to continue? Because you've been there since before it was finished, and you're still there now as representative in high fashion. Tell us what inspires you?
Well, I
part of
can't,
this?
certainly, I can't take credit for the success of the experience the building has created. We have a fantastic residential team, residential management team, concierge service 24/7, our bar and beverage team. They do a fantastic job. We just recently won 3 St. Louis Apartment Association awards, including Property of the Year, which is absolutely a tip of the cap to everyone who's working day in and day out in that building to
Yeah.
create that experience and run our leasing and everything else. My responsibility, covers the development, but plays a small part in all of that. I think being part of this, I'm originally a kid from St. Louis, and I'm proud of my city. I grew up a Cardinals fan. I've worked in various areas of the country and various projects, and the opportunity to be part of something like this that's actually transforming our city and something that's so meaningful to people that visit, live, work, play, Cardinals fans, everyone, is a true honor. And that's what keeps me absolutely motivated and engaged. And it helps that we have fantastic products.
Yeah.
It helps that, the development has thrived. Those are all great things. It doesn't come without hard work and commitment and continuing to just push forward through all of that. But that's what keeps me in it is the
Yeah.
fact that I'm proud of my city, and I'm proud of it's where I raise my daughters, and and it's a great place to be.
Hmm.
And to be part of something like that it's an honor.
Sure, absolutely. So with this, do you see, gosh, I guess I should say, how are you staying ahead of the game with all that's going on with One Cardinal Way?
Well, we're constantly trying to raise the bar.
Yeah.
Whether it's the type of events we're curating or the amenities we have. We've got, in our residential portfolio, we also are on the other side of the state in Kansas City. There's a lot of similarities between these luxury properties. We're able to really combine resource in that and programming for, like you would in any other business. Like, what's that market doing? What's this market doing? To always hone in on the experience and always hone in on what do we do next, and how do we continue to innovate, and how do we continue to deliver more, and also acknowledge where we have some gaps. And you're never going to be better if you're not acknowledging gaps, but to correct them quickly and or raise the bar is it's no different than how we operate the rest of the property as well. We just completed a $4 million reimagination, if you will, of the Budweiser Brewhouse to create three new venues, and including Crown Hall, which is a great music venue now on the first level, Ava Garden Bar outside, which is cool Mediterranean feel. We reimagined the Bud Deck rooftop that looks right in the stadium. Those things all have to happen, whether it's the residential tower or the entertainment district or the office building or the hotel. We can't just build it and hope it just works forever. You have to continue to, especially when you want to be in the leading edge, especially when you want to be at the forefront of things, you have to continue to innovate. You have to continue to reinvest. And I think that the partnership with the Cordish companies and the Cardinals and DeWitts and Cordishes have done a fantastic job by doubling down on those efforts and giving us the opportunity to execute upon them, because it pays off when we have happy guests, residents, employees, and everything else.
And we're so busy all the time, but we have not even been to a game this year.
No.
That's how busy we are with everything. We
Sad.
just keep adding on. But I think one of the coolest things that still that when I'm sitting in the ballpark and I'm looking at Ballpark Village from a seat from behind home plate, and I'm looking to my left over there, it is so cool to see the Bud Deck, because sometimes I forget it's not part of the stadium. You have to remind yourself that that's across the street. but it looks like it's part of the stadium the way it's all designed, and it's so really cool the thought that went into all the design and the work, of Ballpark Village to kind of just mesh with the stadium.
As we've expanded and continued to have new exciting things and new narratives, sometimes that's gotten a little lost in the reminder that was intentional. This was the first master plan development through this nature of partnership with an MLB club and a developer to create this sports entertainment district being that building. And then obviously go through the whole neighborhood. This isn't Wrigleyville. It's just a building out in center field that somebody happens to see
Right.
from. This was intentional. And in building that new stadium, and Bill DeWitt III will speak to this too, that when they built the stadium that opened in 2006, Busch 3 that we're in right now, it was intentional to leave that center field cut out as part of this master planning, sacrifice about 7,000 seats. And, very
especially
proud
in a city like St. Louis.
Well, very
That's
proudly.
something you don't want to do. Is cut out some
No.
seating.
Very proudly, we still end up in the top 3 on annualized ticket sales, being in the high 20s of the DMA of the MLB. And those other stadiums ahead of us have 10,000 more seats, and so that's something to be proud of. But to your point, that whole placemaking was very intentional and framing and everything, and it's something that we're certainly very proud of.
So you have a friend coming in town, and they're going to be here for 24 hours. What's going to be your itinerary?
Well, we'll certainly visit the village. Maybe hit the arch, check it out, and then I think we've done a really good job in this town of other sports too. If it's hockey season, a hockey game is unmatched. Energizer Park's energy is incredible. What St. Louis City SC has done for St. Louis is incredible. Union Station continues to evolve and innovate as well. It's a great place to go, and very simple, and maybe I'm punting on this one, but hitting the boathouse at Forest Park is always a nice thing to bring somebody out of town to, because you're in the middle of a city and this beautiful park that we have as a gym. We sometimes take for granted, with the zoo, the science center, art museum, concerts on the hill, so much to do, and I don't think you can get it done in 24 hours.
And then go back to the pool.
Yes.
And just hang out at the infinity pool and have a cocktail then. make it a perfect day. Well, let's see what you guys know about
It's going to put us to the test.
Yeah.
We're going against each other.
I'll start out easy, okay?
All right.
How many World Series championships have the St. Louis Cardinals won?
11.
Could you restudy it?
No.
Okay.
Am I right?
There's 11 pennants on the PwC pennant building at Ballpark Village, with a year for each pennant that we won. So
very cool.
And behind that building.
That's the second most
He's got a little
MLB in history.
Because some of the history is in the building. So
oh, this is way too easy. Okay, come on. What's the home stadium name? Stop it. We all know that. We also know what the mascot is, right? Who's going to say it first?
Fred Brewer just entered into the Mascot Hall of Fame this year. Big celebration.
Excuse me, I'm excited. That's really great.
And we just found out about that it was the first Mascot Hall of Fame because the Kansas City Chiefs Wolf got inducted into that too.
Yeah.
40 years that guy's been wearing that uniform.
40 or 30? Was it 40?
I think it was 40.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 30, 40, either one. Yeah. Which Cardinal legend wore number 6? Greatest hitter of all baseball history.
Stan the Man.
There you go. All right, we're going to get a little tougher. What year did the Cardinals last win the World Series?
Ding.
That's what we need. We need a
2011.
Very good. All right. What iconic broadcaster is known as the voice of the Cardinals for over 40 years?
Ding.
Jackpot.
What 2 players shared the nickname MV3 along with Albert Pujols in the early 2000s? 2 guys.
Oh, Wainwright and
Nope.
oh, what is it? What was it again?
2 players shared the nickname MV3 along with Albert Pujols in 2006, or in the early 2006. Initials JE and then SR.
Jim Edmonds and Scott Rowland.
There you go.
That would have taken a while. Thanks for that.
I'll give you a hint if needed. What was the Cardinals manager during the 2011 World
Oh,
Series?
it's easy.
Well, say it. We only have so
Rooster.
long. Okay. Now we're going to get a little harder, maybe. What pitcher threw a no-hitter for the Cardinals in 2001? And there's a beer. The first name's the same as a St. Louis beer. Was that a good hint? Not Budweiser, but ding. Bud Smith?
Okay.
Neither of you know
I'm
him?
just gonna. I'll
See, I
point
told you these are hard.
Me too.
Who hit the dramatic game-tying home run in Game 6 of the 2011 World Series?
The
Missed
freeze.
him. Yeah. He also hit the game-winning home run in the 11th inning as well. So 2011, 11th inning. Which Cardinal players won the National League MVP award in 2005, 2008, and 2009? Player. He's still a resident, I guess, here. He's retired now.
Is it one player? Are you saying players or one?
I'm sorry. Which Cardinals player, just one person, National League MVP? Three. Yeah,
Okay.
3 times. Okay, last question.
All I could think of.
What was the original name of the franchise before becoming the Cardinals?
Browns.
Yes, there you go. You guys, good job. You guys at least
We're being nice to each other.
you were.
All right. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we're 4:52. Should we go ahead and make sure that we get you want to wait a little bit, or do you want to get the movie play and then we can finish out with Mike?
Yes.
So we kind of add what the blockbusters did and what the movies did. And since you've been able to spend the entire happy hour with us, we're going to go ahead and make sure that Marcus Theaters lets us know what's going on. Are you ready for it?
Hello everyone, Ian here, and welcome back after the long holiday weekend to the Marcus Recap. Starting with the box office results, at number 1 is Jurassic World Rebirth with 91.5 million. In second, F1 with 26 million. In third, How to Train Your Dragon with 11 million. In fourth, Elio with 5.7 million. And in fifth, 28 Years Later with 4.6 million. 2 Fathoms to look forward to on the 7th, you can catch This Is Spinal Tap. And on the 13th, you can catch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. On the 8th, you can join us for the Superman Early Access screening sponsored by Amazon Prime. On the 13th, you can catch Kung Fu Panda 4 as part of Kids Dream. And finally, one new release to look forward to. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. This has been Ian with this week's edition of The Recap.
Thanks, Justin. We appreciate it. Have you been to the movies lately?
I haven't been in a little while. No,
Definitely
I enjoy it,
recommend
but I haven't.
F1 on the big screen with Brad Pitt. Really good. We did not see Jurassic Park yet. I guess we should see it since it's blown away in the
91 million.
That's quite a spread from 1 to 3, even
Yes.
1 to 2. But
huge spread, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think F1 had 56 million something like 56 million the first week. But yeah,
I would think Jurassic Park would be a good one to see on the big screen.
Yeah.
We said if we're going to see it, we've got to see it on the big
do you
screen.
like Formula One racing?
I want to see the movie. Yeah, I don't keep up with it that much.
But you kind of want to now.
Yeah.
That kind of made us feel like I think I want to be a fan now.
We have friends, good friends that
hard.
live, breathe, and die F1. They'll travel, they'll go to Italy to watch one. They'll go all over the place to watch it. And then after watching the F1 movie, it's kind of like,
Yeah, maybe
I'm in.
this
we're
is
a
pretty
fan.
cool. Yeah.
We're a fan now. All right, so we need to ask you the question of the day. If you could swap lives with a TV or movie character for 24 hours, who would it be and why?
As a kid, I think I'll just put myself in my childhood here and I'd say I wanted to be Rocky Balboa.
Oh, what? But then you're going to get hit in the face.
No, I'm talking pre-retirement, pre-Rocky 5 that we don't talk about.
Okay.
I'm more like Mr. T and Drago, 3 and 4 days. Even his later life in Rocky Balboa, there was a lot of great lessons in that. So I would take that.
Take that one.
This
I'm
one.
going to be Wonder Woman, I said, because then I could have the lion, golden lasso, and superpowers.
Truth.
And yours was
Bruce Wayne. Well,
Bruce
it'd be Bruce
Wayne.
Wayne or Batman because both alter egos are like awesome, right?
Agreed.
Superman's a nerd, so it's like, he's
Agreed.
cool, but then when he's,
I think you're winning in both cases.
yeah.
So we're sitting with Mike LaMartina, Cardinal. I keep saying it the wrong way, not looking at it. Cardinal one way, right?
One Cardinal way.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, above the game there, life above the game. I can't get it right. It's been like Monday every day of my life here. I don't think I'm getting enough sleep whatsoever. But we also have to have the bands in, so we need to know what's playing for the band. So you're going to need to pull up Cat Muse and wait. She really rocks it out with the bands. She opens that up and gets our attention. I didn't realize, do you go out and watch bands at all?
We host a ton of live music at Ballpark Village, from large national concerts to even, like I mentioned, Crown Hall, our new music venue there. So we get to see great local talent as well as large national talent.
Have you had a favorite?
I think we did Third Eye Blind for 4th of July
Wow.
one year, which was a lot of fun. we've done every country. Hot Country Nights takes place from January through March at FanDuel Sports Network Live, and it's all large national headliners.
Are your girls like, I want to go, Dad, take me, I want to see?
There's been a couple, yeah. There's
I
been a
bet
couple.
they have. You use all the tickets they can get to go to things. Want to go ahead and we'll do Kat before we have to. Yep.
Well, she's got about 2.5 minutes.
Well, she's going to have to play. I guess we're going to have to do the bands tomorrow then.
Yeah.
We'll put it in tomorrow. Well, we appreciate you so much coming in and talking about everything that's going on. Do you have a favorite place that you like to hang out when you're down at Ballpark Village?
You know, I think that's what's unique is you can have a different favorite every day.
Depending on the mood, I guess,
Exactly.
right?
From
Whether you want to be quiet.
Clark and Bourbon at Live by Lowe's with a great whiskey room. That's great for private
That's right up
events.
Gordon's alley right
Come over
there.
to Katie's Pizza and Pasta and her special menu that's just available at Ballpark Village. Sports and Social and FanDuel Sports Network Live are great for game days and game day experiences. Salt and Smoke. You know, what's your flavor?
Yeah.
It can be a different experience every time.
You've got it all. Thank you so much for sharing. It really makes me excited and want to head down there and check everything out because it has actually been a little bit, and I'm excited to go and inspired to see what's happening down there. So I hope the rest of you listening will also take the time to go down and visit the city and enjoy all that it has to offer. And we appreciate you being with us here today, right here on the In Your City show at the Lou Information Station on KLIS 590 on demand at louinfo.com. Of course, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, all of your favorite podcast sites, as well as, of course, always on the radio dial at 590 AM. We will be back tomorrow with another hot happy hour here in STL. And grab your cocktail, grab your mocktail, and have some fun with us. Until then, cheers.